All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast with Bobby Melendez and Josh Kimmel, fresh off the WWE Clash at the Castle in Scotland, PLE. And what an event it was. Before we get started, Josh, how the heck are you, brother?
Pretty good, man. I love that we just went live. We didn't have a pre-show, no meeting. So all of our ideas and all of our thoughts are going to be fresh for one of another. We text each other a couple times, once or twice
Yeah.
during the event. So I'm really curious to see how you enjoyed the ending, or if you did enjoy the ending.
Yeah. No, I mean, we'll get to that. Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest, we'll get to that in a minute in regard to as we go through the matches. But I will say, I told my daughter, because she was like, who do you think's going to win? And I was like, well, they're in Scotland. You think, Drew's obviously that's like the good betting choice. But I said, watch out. Look out for CM Punk. She's like, you think? My oldest. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, you're right. So interesting closing. Overall, just I'll say broad, and I'll let you get your thing. But overall, broad PLE, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Some shock here and there. My mouth dropped in that tag title match. I sent it to you. My daughter was laughing. My son was laughing because I literally went, my daughter like, yo, and you said you were shocked. But the Chad Gable match shocked you. But overall, for me, again, fun event, fun pay-per-view. I always consider it a pay-per-view. It's hard for me to say PLE, but
right.
Fun PLE. I think Piper Nevin freaking killed it. I think she had a great match. Despite losing, I think she came out looking like $1 million. AJ versus Cody starting off was a lot of fun. Like you messaged me, we have color. It was cool to see. You kind of got a little bit of a tease towards the end, or at the end of the match, after AJ said I quit. And, Cody kind of gave like, I'm still going to hit you with this thing. Kind of got a little bit of a heel there. But overall, what were your thoughts on this PLE? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Do you come off going, damn, this was a good one?
Yeah, considering the fact that I haven't slept in 3 days, it kept me awake. I did close my eyes a couple times. I'm not going to lie to everyone.
I did
kind of like during entrances or the commercials, or actually some of the Piper Niven match. I kind of just closed my eyes and said, I got to recharge because I know an important match is coming up. No offense to the Piper Niven and Bailey match, but I did catch the majority of that. Really fun show. Crowd always makes the show. The crowd always makes the show feel important, especially overseas. I feel like everyone's mimicking the other one. So, all right, they're singing the songs. All right, now we got to sing the songs. All right, we got to sing the songs. The very beginning match, Cody Rhodes, they were all singing a song from the start. And I tweeted something out just very sarcastically and very sly. I think Chris Jericho invented that with the whole Judas thing, the Judas in my mind. Now everyone's doing that. It's catching on. It's awesome. I love to see the crowd involvement, because there's nothing worse than having amazing matches with everyone sitting on their hands. That kills. I can make a 5-star match turn into a 3-star match real quick. And every match seemed important tonight. Even the women's tag team matches. That was a match I wasn't looking forward to, but that was entertaining because of the women involved, because of the 2 women that won the titles. They were involved, and that's why the crowd was hot. That's why I also think they were involved, but we'll get there later. That's why I'm like, I'm not really shocked they won, because they got to do something. I knew Drew wasn't going over. I knew I thought Chad was going over. So I thought there was going to be one title change, and that was the one that I thought was going to change the most.
Yeah, so let's just get into it. Let's start off with the undisputed WWE Championship match. Again, I believe these, we talk about the crowd. This is what makes these PLEs, especially these international PLEs. I mean, you start with, you had Puerto Rico at Backlash at WrestleMania. You had France, what they were able to do, Saudi Arabia, now Scotland. I mean, they're raising the bar for PLEs here in the States, because it's like you're not going to be able to watch one now without comparing the fan base. The fan base is just as important. I'm talking about the audience is just as important now as the performers in the ring. And like you said, nothing sucks more than watching it live at home, and you're watching this match and you're into it, but then the crowd is dead. And it's like, it just doesn't have the same feel. Right. But when you're watching these ones like the Drew McIntyres or the Cody match, or even, you know, the tag match. You know, you're watching it and it's like, you think Piper, right? And which in a normal day, yeah, it's kind of like, okay, Piper versus Bailey. Like you said, you might be able to go and sit back and probably close your eyes for a little while. But the crowd, the way he was cheering on Piper, who's supposed to be the heel, I was like, this gets you into the match. So I just thought it was a lot of fun overall, and I think the crowd makes up a lot of that. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. I mean, starting off with a bang. We knew these guys were going to put on a show. It seemed old school. I would say that about the main event as well. It was an old school wrestling match, hard hitting, weapons. Like you said, there was blood, whether it was fake or real. That's a debate. You text, I think that was fake, but still, it's color. I don't know. I don't know if it was fake, but I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought we got to see. I think we got to see a little bit of heel Cody. You know, kind of letting those inner demons out and what he did to AJ. I thought it was a lot of fun. I will say, when, you know, wrapping a chair around someone's neck and kicking it used to mean something. I didn't like that spot because it's like that's a finisher. That's an end of career. That should have been blood coming out of the mouth. Mm-hmm. You know, that's my issue a lot of times with these matches. A lot of my issues with any match that involves any kind of big thing like that. It's like there are so many moves that will be like, okay, back in the day, and I know we're past that point now, but those moves used to be like, you go, holy, you used to freak out and go, wait a second, you know, he's done. But I thought that was a little too early, and I didn't think that was not a necessary action to do in that match, because again, to me that's like a, you know, stop the match type of situation. But overall, fun match. Thought it was funny they got his mother involved, Mrs. Rhodes. Mm-hmm. Typical heel work there by AJ Styles. AJ looked great, did great. Thought the ending was a little tacky, but that's just me. I didn't really like the way it ended. You know, after everything they went through, to kind of go, okay, I'm sorry, I'm done. You know, it's kind of like, really, the steel steps is what got you to quit. But neither here nor there. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to give it a rating. I'm not Dave Meltzer. What do you think about that match?
Yeah, knew the match was going to open it, of course, because they had to open it with something strong. So I'm glad they opened it with this match. Before we get into the actual match, before I do, I want to say you it's funny how you said you see a little bit of a heel side of Cody coming out, like the aggressiveness, the heel tactics, the almost losing control, trying to find himself in the middle of, you know, smashing AJ Styles face in with the steel steps, looking at his mother, trying, like the Hulk moment, like, am I really a monster? I got to stop, but then doing it anyway. You see that as heel tactics, and maybe you don't. I'm just putting much, but that's what you said. I look at it as Cody is a baby face. He's getting boring. People are turning on him. He's trying to find his inner Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's trying to be the ultimate badass. I can be bad guys. I could be cool. I could be edgy. That's how I see it. Because I don't ever see him turning heel, ever. He wants to be loved. He's signing autographs on the way to the ring. Probably after walking out, signing more autographs, taking pictures. That's the kind of guy he is. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I just want to squash that real quick. There's no heel turn coming, guys. That's just him trying to be a badass. And it worked. To me, that was the Cody I want to see. That's the babyface champion I want to see. I can go here. I don't want to go here, but I can. I loved it. I loved everything about the end. The steel steps, of course, you're like, oh, it's after all this, steel steps are the way we go. I get that. I understand that. Can you shut my door? Sorry, my son just walked in here, guys.
You're good, man. No worries. We're live, guys.
Yeah, it's a Saturday afternoon. My son just brought me a bunch of course, my wife was in the hospital for a day and a half, and then my grandma just came over with a huge care package, and my son just gave it to me. I'm like, I'm not the one that was injured, buddy. Anyway, so back to the Cody Rhodes situation. Yeah, the match was great. It brought up everything. You had tables, you had chairs, you had aggression, you had color. I joked on Twitter and I deleted the tweet because I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. I'm already getting the negative. Josh is negative. It looked like fake blood, but hey, at least they tried. Come on, man. Blood doesn't look that red. And the blood was literally wiped off within seconds. But it was a good look. there was a lot of things on tonight's show where makes me looking forward to the Netflix era. We're gonna see we got men threatening women. Now, I get it, but in the Attitude Era, in the Ruthless Aggression Era, we had Mae Young getting thrown through tables. Even we saw Baron Corbin give Becky Lynch the end of days. That made him look like a mega heel. That we talked about that.
Yes, we did.
So we're getting a lot of things in that of like blood, of cussing on TV. Cody's mom saying you're an asshole on TV. Overall aggressive match, great match to start the show. I don't like I Quit matches because how do you finish an I Quit match without making someone look weak? The last I Quit match I saw was Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland in AEW. In the way Christian quit, he was literally going to get a spiked baseball bat sledgehammer looking thing up his face. That wasn't a steel steps. Like, how do you make someone quit? Especially a badass like AJ. I don't ever like the concept of it.
That's a great point because there were times where, I mean, a lot of the stuff AJ was doing to try to force Cody to quit felt believable. I could have seen Cody saying, okay, I'm done, because he's using the belt, he's choking him, he's doing this, he's doing that. The steel steps at the end there, it's kind of like, what was it? There's ways to do it, but I agree with you. The I Quit match, it's the heel that has to lose, and the heel has to say I quit. Because if you make the baby face say I quit, it's gonna damper him down real low. But I think there was probably a better way to do it. I love what you've said about Cody and possibly teasing and probably being the anti-hero idea. What we discussed with Roman Reigns. Now I will say though, because you said Stone Cold. I think Cody might get, I can't see him as like and I'm not saying that's what you said, but I know you're saying he could kind of, maybe that's what he's trying to do. I can never see him as that type. Stone Cold seemed like a legitimate badass that you don't, you get into a bar fight with and he could win a bar fight like Bradshaw. Bradshaw, it was cocky, whatever, but like if you got into a fight with Bradshaw, you're probably gonna be hurt. Now, if you got in a fight with Hulk Hogan, I feel pretty good about that. No joke, I'm not trying to be rude here. But I could see Cody being more of like a Hollywood Hogan type if he was to ever go heel, more than a Stone Cold, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
But let's talk more about what probably got our attention a lot more was the ending when Cody's coming up the ramp. And now you see Solo Sikoa standing on his side, kind of like the bodyguard. I kind of went, oh, hell no.
Can I talk about this before? Can I talk about this real quick?
Yeah.
So I'm a big person of 1, 2, 3. I got to find something else to do for the next 5 minutes because I can't stand them just celebrating with the belt. Like, I got to move on. So when I came back in the room, I saw them beating up the Bloodline. I'm like, the hell did I miss? So I did have to fast forward a little bit. I'm like, come on, are we AEW now? Do we need to overbook this at this moment? That's how I felt about it. We didn't need the overbooking. I didn't need to see the Bloodline. The Bloodline has nothing to do with Cody right now, has zero to do with Cody right now, like zero. I know a couple SmackDowns ago, Paul Heyman did mention, hey, we need to get things in line when Roman comes back.
Yep.
And then Solo said, well, we have Cody where we want him. He doesn't even know it yet. That was the only mention of Cody. That was fine. I didn't watch SmackDown last night, everyone, so I didn't know if that rolled along with the story. Did not watch it. Personal things were going on. But I will say this. I'm here for it. I'm here to light a little match under this feud to get it going to SummerSlam because we have to do something because we know.
Let me ask you that. I want to ask you that because that was brought up on Twitter. I know you're not too much into Twitter right now, but somebody brought up that it could be going Solo versus Cody Rhodes. At this moment in time, I have zero interest in a Cody versus Solo for the world title storyline feud. Zero. You bring a good point. There needs to be a spark. Doesn't mean I won't get into it, but you have to productively build it. I think this has been one of the rare L's for this current WWE regime is how they've handled Solo Sikoa. He's not believable to me. I don't see him as intimidating. You see how Drew McIntyre's just lost again, but do you think who would you rather be in the ring with, or who do you rather bump into? Would you rather bump into an angry Solo, or would you rather bump into an angry Drew? Give me Solo. I think they should have put him against maybe the top, other than Cody, babyfaces in SmackDown. Have him dominate, have him look really tough to beat, whatever you want to call him, minus the leader and plus the leader of the bloodline at this current regime. Then you could put him in a program with Cody. I have zero interest in it. When I saw him out there, I went, oh, okay, here we go. They're actually going to do this. Not saying I can't get to that point, but I have zero interest. Do you have any interest in a Solo versus Cody right now?
See, I don't see it going that way at all. I don't see a singles match happening at all. I see a trios match. I see a 3 versus 3. I see Cody, Randy, Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline coming up at the next pay-per-view or PLE, whatever you call it. That's what I see. I don't see Cody defending this title on the next pay-per-view. I see this leading up to a trios match where the Bloodline has to win because they're looking. You just said it yourself. You're not interested. Evan, I know, is in the chat saying Solo makes me turn the channel. I see you, Evan. But we need to make them believable. That's why we want to turn the channel when they're on, because we don't believe them. It's like The Godfather. I watched the movies maybe one or twice. Honestly, guys, sorry. But it's like, remember when the lesser brother took over for a little bit and he was incompetent and nobody really respected him? I remember that's Solo to me. Like, oh yeah, he's the loser brother. He's the guy that nobody cares about. But he does have to get over. I feel like they need to win in this trios match. And then we need to see the return of The Rock. Or if it's not The Rock, then Roman. One of the two has to come back. We need to find out who the tribal chief is. Who have they been speaking to? We know it's The Rock. We know it's Dwayne. But we need to see it. How many more weeks can I go where it orders by the tribal chief? Like, come on. It's drawing itself out. There's too much lead up into who the tribal chief is, because now we already know who it is. So you might as well just reveal it. But I understand The Rock's probably busy with whatever he's doing right now. But yeah, I'm not really interested in one-on-one. If it's one-on-one and you make Solo lose, then that story's dead. Bloodline's dead because Cody just won again. So they have to win the next thing.
100%. You know what? I love that. I think you're right. If they could do that, where 3-on-3 trios match and Bloodline goes over with Solo with a dominant finish, it becomes more believable, because Solo's not going to beat Cody. And if Cody hits that triple crossroads and one more, it's like, okay, here we go again. Just make it a triple crossroads. That's your new finisher, because it doesn't mean anything anymore. But it's like, if he's gonna do that and you're gonna make Solo lose again, what's the point? You got to start building him up to be a realistic heel villain bad guy. What he was before, he was the enforcer. He was, and then those small teases that he could turn on Roman. And when he did, you felt like, oh crap, this could go down.
Mm-hmm.
But then he beats Cena and then loses and loses and loses and loses and loses. Now you kind of lost that aura. Now he's the leader of the Bloodline. In fact, and he's telling Paul Heyman, if I lose tonight, I'm coming after you. I felt like Scott Hall at the moment. Kind of like, ooh, okay, I'm so nervous. That sucks, because Solo's a damn good. He's a great performer. He is, like his brothers, like his whole family. To me, I feel like they have to do a little more to make him believable. So when you get that Roman versus Solo match, it's believable. It feels like Solo could pull it off. Solo loses. Rock is announced as the other tribal chief, that the real tribal chief that Solo's been reported to. As you said, we all believe that's the case. It's not Solo. And then you have that payoff later on, whether at Survivor Series or maybe as The Rock said, the biggest main event in WrestleMania history, which we all know he's talking Roman versus Rock. He's not talking Cody versus Rock.
Oh, Survivor Series is gonna be War Games, Bloodline versus Bloodline. It's booked. I already know, and nobody told me. I'm just telling you guys. So I'm telling you guys, booked. It's Bloodline versus Bloodline and War Games in Survivor Series. It's gonna happen.
Gunther's not going to win the Money in the Bank. He's already won the King of the Ring. I think that's Jey Uso, who's on verge of possibly winning that, I would think.
I think if they gave Jey Uso the Money in the Bank, it's a major fail. It's a massive mistake. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
That's down the road. that's my thought process on that, because you brought up Gunther. And I love that take, but we're not going to go there. We'll wait on that discussion.
Gunther is going to face. It looks like Damian Priest.
Yeah. Okay. So second match on the card is Belair and Cargill fire Dawn and Baszler and Stark for the women tag team titles. I never liked these triple tags, but it was, again, all the matches on here were fun. The crowd made it better. You noted, as it was obvious there, a few obvious botches, but she made up for them. Cargill, I just feel as the match went on, the flaws became evident. It's kind of like Goldberg in his later.
I was gonna say that.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was gonna say, like, she was really, really, really protecting AEW, where every match was 2 minutes, and she just did, showed up, posed, pump kick, jaded, 1, 2, 3. That was her entire AEW career. She took more bumps in this match.
Yeah, she did.
Than she took in all of her AEW career. Seriously, not even a joke. So
and she didn't. Go ahead.
So I'm sorry, but she looks great though. When she takes a bump, she looks good.
Yeah.
When she botches, she gets up and she knows what to do. She's not like Bill Goldberg when he botched against Scott Hall. Basically, just said, "What do I do now?" Like, he just basically stood there. We just watched. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
We'll be back tomorrow night for Who Killed WCW.
Yeah, we'll talk about that episode. But when she went for the springboard, she fell. She got right back up. Someone called a spot. Boom, fixed it. And then when they were doing the double team moves at the very end, she messed those up as well. But they went along and she didn't make it noticeable. The biggest thing as a performer, not just professional wrestler, just a performer, when you mess up, act like nobody saw it. Keep going, because if you bring attention to the botch, you bring attention to the mistake, then it gets pointed out. You keep going, people go, like me, go, wow, she fucked that up. But she recovered. That's exactly what I texted you. She botched a lot, but every single time she botched, she made up for it immediately, and you forgot about the botch.
Yeah.
So props to her.
I know, straight up. We know, she's raw, right? She's a raw project. She's still getting there. I do like you said, that's confidence. You could kind of saw it in her face when she went to go do the springboard off the ropes, and she, you saw she got right back up, and she was kind of smirking when she went to go do a follow-up move. Somebody called it. It's confidence. And the match wasn't bad. Again, it was an entertaining match, entertaining finish. And the finish may not have been for you, but it made I literally went, oh, I love how it did it. I love those type of finishes where, like, oh, this is obvious. They're going to win. I'll say, nope, now you're not. 1, 2, 3. You're like, whoa, hold on a second. And Dawn and Fire win the tag team titles. Now, I know Evan's saying here, make those titles disappear. We know a lot of people feel that way about the women's tag titles, maybe even the men's tag titles. It's just something they have not really they're not legitimate. You got to make legitimate tag teams. You got to make legitimate feuds within those tags. Like back in the day, obviously the men's were more viable. There wasn't real women's tag back in the day. But you think of Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, the Acolytes, APA, you name all, Harlem Heat, you go the Dungeon Doom, all these guys, whatever. Those were legit tag teams. We all knew them. They weren't some random teams that you threw together. Now, Belair and Cargill, that's a legitimate team. Now, we all know where that may go, but I believe that the way to save that is to make legitimate tag teams, not just one, not just two, a few of them, and push them and make legitimate matches. This was good, but again, it doesn't make the titles feel any bigger.
Yes. Sorry. You're 100% right. Going back to the finish. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast on a walk this morning. Went on a walk. I'll tell you who it was. It was Dave Meltzer. Yes, I listen to Meltzer sometimes.
That's okay.
Yep. Just because I'm like, yeah, like they don't have any kind of like real news. Like, I don't really believe anything he says. But he did exactly call the finish. He called the finish to a T. And he recorded his show yesterday. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they're losing their titles today, aren't they? And literally he called the finish exactly how it went down. And that was like when you're like, oh, and you gave me the shock face. I'm like, nobody really thinks they were going to walk out of here, because they have to eventually we're getting into SummerSlam season, guys. Like, it's coming up. It's a big deal this year. Usually SummerSlam's a throwaway show because they take off during the summer. It's boring. It's rematches. But I think they're going to lead into a match. I think we're going to see babyface Jade versus a healed Bianca, and that's what we need to see. How we get there is them losing the titles. Now we can see the dissolving relationship that they're going to have throughout the weeks. It's not going to happen overnight. That's the beautiful thing about this feud. Beautiful thing about this whole story is it's going to fizzle into someone snapping. You lost the title, or yada. Why didn't you make the cover? You took way too long to make the cover. You saw her. She's like, you knew right there when she didn't make the cover immediately, and she was just like, I don't know what she was doing. You know what I'm talking about? The spot where she like
Yes.
should have covered her. I'm like, she's taking forever. Oh, who's the woman coming up? Oh, there she comes. Boom, 1, 2, 3. I was like, all right, that was awesome. I'm glad they did it this way because you can't. First off, you don't have someone pinned. Obviously, that's why they made it a triple threat match, guys.
Yeah, and Evan's bringing it up now. No harm to Belair and Cargill. They still look strong.
And
They
that's
had a
why
strong finish. Yep.
And that's why you make it a triple threat match to protect that person, whether it be Bianca or Jade. So I believe honestly, Evan, you're right. Get rid of the titles. They're useless. The titles have never meant anything other than to break up or start a feud with women. That's all the titles have ever been used for since day one. Whether it be Sasha Bailey, whether it be the Australian girls from before, can't remember their names, Billy Kay and those little girls. It's never been used as we're the tag team champions and we're dominant. It's always we're a team that's thrown together. We're superpowers. We're dominant. We're gonna turn on each other eventually. It's the same story over and over and over. Over and over.
So moving on to this match was a lot of fun, a lot of intrigue. You see a lot of people care about this story, and it's not even the feud itself. It's the story outside the ring. You got Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn for the IC title. Man, first off, congrats to Chad Gable on his extensions, re-signing with the WWE. He talked about, how when he spoke to Triple H about his extension earlier, and Triple H said this is going to be different. We're going to give everybody a place. Everybody's going to have a spot. Everyone's going to have a story. He says, I'll see it when I believe it. And it was true. He did basically what he said. I'm paraphrasing. I don't have the exact quote. Triple H kept his word. He re-signs. And again, even though he did not win the title today, and again, I could have saw it happening, but I didn't think he would because I think obviously we know that ultimate turn, even though he's a heel, the ultimate turn for a new faction should be going down soon. But he came out strong. I mean, the ending there where he's sitting in the ring, foaming basically from the mouth, reminded me of Perk Angle or Angry Triple H when Stephanie got punted by Randy Orton. Otis and Maxine are great at emotions. They're great at selling. The biggest pop in that match was Otis and Chad Gable talking, as you thought that Otis was about to do something when Otis stood in the way, and Maxine almost getting kicked. And overall, it was a great match. I thought she was gonna get punt. I thought she was gonna get kicked, Helluva kicked. I was waiting for it.
Oh no,
and I don't want her to. I really don't. But I was kind of like, oh,
Yep.
because I thought it would have been great. I think that would have been. But then when she got her leg caught up by Chad Gable on the reversal, and Otis kind of went, you go, oh, here we go. It's about to go down. And again, it didn't. Yes, but that's what Evan's saying. The Creed brothers. That's what I'm talking about. The Ultimate. I liked it. And we'll see what goes down there. Again, I'm excited for Chad Gable. I'm excited about where his character is going. I'm happy he resigned. I think I hate that he hasn't won because, I mean, even when he gets with the Creed brothers, is he getting another shot at the IC title? Is he past the IC title? Has he grown past it already? I think that's a question. But what are your thoughts on this match and the finish?
Yeah, I don't think he's grown past the IC title. I think the end game is to win the IC title. I don't think he can go beyond that. Maybe if they stick him in a Money in the Bank qualifier, but then again, you're just there to lose. And if he wins it, do we really think he's going to contend with the Drew McIntyres and CM Punks and Seth Rollins? Not right now. Maybe later down the road. So he hasn't outgrown. My problem is, are we going to get bored with his story pursuing the IC title? How many shots is he going to get? Now, we all know baby faces in both companies, all probably in TNA as well, are dumb and like, oh, I'll give you a title shot, right? Like, because that's what baby faces do. You want this so bad, but I love what you said via text. Maxine's going to be putting the ankle lock on Monday Night Raw, because she's selling that hurt foot. But I don't think it's going to be Chad Gable. I don't think they're there yet. It can't be. It can't be. Maybe in the Netflix era, maybe when we get on, off of USA Network and we go to Netflix, we can have this kind of man on women violence. We don't want, like, what I mean is, like, it gives them heat. Like, they're bad guys, they're characters. We don't, like, when we watch Die Hard and the bad guys, beating up women or whatever, it's like, oh, he's a bad guy, he's a piece of crap. But we understand it's a movie. We can't really separate the two when it comes to wrestling and movies, but I digress. It is a TV show. I think we have Ivy Niles do it because she's a woman and she has that background of the MMA background. So if we have Ivy Niles do it while he's beating up Gable, while Gable's beating up Otis, and then we have Sami Zayn come out for the save. I don't know how. I just don't see Chad Gable actually doing that on USA Network.
Let me tell you why I like. That's probably the way I would go. It's a snap issue. I mean, you see him at the end of that match. He's foaming. Mm-hmm. He wanted, and then she interferes. Again, Otis, for whatever reason, looks like he's gonna, despite everything that's went down, he was gonna attack Sami Zayn. Chad Gable's distracting. He's like, "Hey, go do it." And right before he goes to do it, Maxine says, Otis calls him out, and then she falls down and does the whole set. And she's a great actress, and Otis is too. He's a great actor. I mean, I'm believing their story, and I'm a big fan of their work. And I'm going, damn, and so he picks her up and leaves, and you see Chad Gable's going. I could see Chad totally snapping. And again, like you said, it's characters, right? He grabs the ankle, twisting it. Otis comes running out. That breaks Otis. I agree. Yeah, we could see, who was the
Ivy Niles?
Ivy Niles. Yes. She comes out. Maybe she does that. But how does that make Otis snap? Does Otis grab now? Otis is grabbing Ivy Niles, is throwing her to get her off, and then Chad's jumping on his back. I think the ultimate thing would be him snapping. That's what Kurt Angle would have done.
Yeah.
Man, woman, or child. Kurt Angle would have grabbed your damn ankle and break it in half.
Yep.
That's what he did. You want the ultimate heat. How do you get the fans not to be bored of you? Which I don't think the fans are going to be bored of Chad Gable right now. But I get your point. Is creating the ultimate heel. Kurt Angle wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the strongest. Chad Gable is definitely not the biggest or the strongest. But you already want to get the fans invested, turn them into the ultimate heel that's only touched by certain guys. Put that ankle lock on Maxine Dupree. Then you get Otis. Now he doesn't have to focus on the IC title. It's him and Otis. He goes there and he dominates Otis, shows off that strength, comes off looking strong. Whoever the IC champion is, whether that's Zayn or someone else, give him that other shot and let him run with that title for a year. But I think it has to be Chad Gable who puts that ankle lock on a Maxine in order to solidify. And then Otis goes on, starting to attack Chad Gable after that. And that's when the Creed brothers show up and go to town on Otis. Now you have that new faction.
That would be awesome. I'd pop. I would go nuts tomorrow night not tomorrow night. It's Monday night if that happens. I'm in. I'm all in for that. Just because of the heat that will bring to Chad Gable.
100%.
But I see it the other way. I see it where we get the Creeds come in and we get them to jump Otis and they're beating Otis up and they're just to dominate Otis. Sami Zayn comes out for the save. They beat up Sami Zayn. We see Maxine just upset in the corner of the ring. Stop it. Stop it. He gets that mad dog face, but then he points to Ivy. Get it. Take care of her. As he's the ringmaster, he's telling her to do it because I'm telling you guys, when the show came on today on Peacock, it says PG on the top left corner. That PG is still there, guys. I know they're doing the thing with Liv and they're letting people know that there's possible adult relations going on. We see other things going on that's leading towards PG or TV-13 or TV-14, but it still says PG-13 or still says TV PG up there. They're still on cable network and they still are, they have shareholders. They have guys. We have to understand this. Like, they still have sponsorships. They have people. Like, we can't come on here and start cussing up a storm.
No, I get it.
Sponsor us. You can't have men beating up women on TV. You'll lose sponsorships. We've seen people lose sponsorships for less until they're on Netflix, until they get the okay to go TV-14. I think it's still going to be women on women crime. I think we're going to get Ivy Niles doing it and Chad Gable telling her to do it. That's me, but I'm all for your idea too. I love it. I would, trust me, it'd be a bigger impact. Evan, B. McD, everyone in the chat would be going nuts if that happened. We would all hate Chad Gable to the nth degree. Heels are so hard to get over as heels because we want to cheer the bad guys. We want that NWO feeling again.
Yes.
So we love Chad Gable. We want this to happen, but what's the way to get us to hate him? To do that? Let's see if they pull the trigger.
I agree. And remember, we brought this up. I don't know, it was 2 weeks ago. I think was when Baron Corbin, when he did his finisher on Becky Lynch, and that was PG, but he did his finisher. But remember, I don't know, I was not with you, but my reaction was holy. I popped. Not because I support it. I don't. But again, It's like this is what heels do. And here's the truth: we know it's a story. We know it's acting. It's entertainment. It's not real. I don't know. I don't watch TV on the USA Network, but I'm sure there's some stuff on there that if WWE did, you might have to question it. I think they could get away with it if they wanted to on a one-off. Obviously, if he's not every week twisting ankles of the whole women's division and power slamming, I'm okay.
He's like, all right, Nia, your turn.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
He's like going after all of them. Ryan says it. Heels got to be a heel.
Mm-hmm.
Heels got to be able to heel. And I think if you go that one off, the ultimate payoff would be him laying it into Maxine. And what would be great for my goodness, I'm losing Iva, whatever her name is.
Ivy Niles.
Thank you. My head is fried too. I've been going through too.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Ivy Niles. The ultimate payoff would be, remember, she had a little bit of a friendship thing that they showed backstage with her and Maxine. She said some encouraging words, and then Chad Gable shows up and says, "I like you." Something he said, paraphrasing, would be ultimately as she's doing this, and then Otis is there, and whatever, she comes out that looks like she's about to do something in defense of Maxine. He steps back and he goes, "You do it."
Yep.
And she looks, and you see Maxine, and also she starts, now you made her a freaking villain. Now the world hates her as well as much as you. I hope that would be the case. Obviously, too good to be true. In wrestling, I'm a heel at heart. I love heels. I think they're the coolest thing. But I get your point. Anyway.
Last question before I move on.
Yeah.
So after Otis and after Gable have their match, what do we do with Otis? What do we do? Is he going to go into the abyss? Is he going to go into the unknown? Because he's not world championship material.
No.
He's not.
Great question.
He's not even a singles competitor. But we need to get him in a tag team, or we need to get him in a group. He's never been portrayed as a serious character on this show. He won the Money in the Bank, and that was a giant mistake. He had the whole thing with Mandy. Yep, he had the thing with Mandy Rose, which was great, but it was more for Mandy Rose, not Otis. I just don't know what they do. Like you guys, not just you, just more people say, hey, like he's gonna move on and he's gonna wrestle Otis, and it's gonna be this feud between the two. Like, where does that get me? That gets me nowhere with Otis. It just gets me somewhere with Chad Gable. So
that's the problem. You see, but that's the thing. It gets somewhere for Chad Gable. Otis now is a stepping stone, but where do we go now from Otis, who obviously, again, the fans love him. We believe him when he's doing his story, and he's been in a couple of them that we go, man, this guy, he's fun. We're invested into his character, but how far can his character go? What can we do that will make us invested in him as a character in the ring, as a performer? There's nothing past the Chad Gable storyline right now that you could actually put him in that can make you give a damn about his character development, unless you change his character. We know Chad Gable's quote, the villain in him. He's intimidated by Otis, and rightfully so. Otis is a big dude, but he can put up a damn good match. So I would say for Otis, if I don't know how you do it, but after this story, as it goes down, for me, I think you need to do something to reinvent Otis's character. You have to do something that will reinvent him to make him more believable to the fans. Like, we're invested in him, but are we invested enough to root for him to go for something? Whether it's the IC title, whether it's a USA title, whether it is the world title, whatever. No title right now in our minds, and I don't want to speak for you. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe either of us think that we could see him in any of those title pictures. Not one. It's a hand-me-down. Oh, put him in a tag match, let him win the tag title. Okay, so that's what he is now. He's R-Truth years ahead of time, and I love R-Truth, and I think R-Truth. I mean, that's not on WWE now. It is what it is, but he could have been a real player. But he's a Hall of Famer. He's going to go down as one. He's great. Former NWA champion, the talent, the superstars love him, the wrestlers love him, fans love him, and Otis could do that. Maybe Otis needs to leave, go do something somewhere else, come back and come out big. But I just don't know. It's a great question. What the hell do you do with him?
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
I'll tell you this: I've never been invested in Otis. Even in his highest peaks, I'm into him. I like him, but I don't see anything further. Like this is it. This is his peak. This is his moment, and he had it with Mandy Rose. That was his moment. That's it. I think he's just about moments. He's not about an actual career. Like he's never going to be that steady.
He's the stepping stone.
Yep.
He builds one. He built up Mandy Rose. He's building up Chad Gable right now. He's probably going to build up Maxine.
I don't know
And
about that. I don't know if anyone could build up Maxine.
I don't know,
I don't think
man.
I've seen a worse wrestler in the world than Maxine Dupree.
They've said that a lot about other ones. We know that. What Maxine has going for her though is she's believable. She makes it. She's a very good actress. Whether she could be in the ring any good, we don't know. But she's in
no,
shape.
we know, we've seen it.
Well, come on. Well, there's a little bit of work. Anyway, let's continue on, and we'll talk about the women's world title. Bailey versus Piper Niven. Obviously, Piper. This is her home country. The fans were behind her. The fans really pumped her up, but it wasn't like she was being pushed because the crowd was behind her and you just she did one. It was a good match. She was really good. She came off very strong. I liked it, man.
Yeah.
I liked it. And I'm interested to see where it goes, what's next for her. Just tell me what you think of this match.
Yeah, it's a classic match of the underdog, but she's the hometown hero. It worked out for her. She's a great worker. She always has been. Vince tried the best to make her the worst with Dewdrop. The Dewdrop gimmick kind of killed her, and all the casual people who didn't know she was Piper Niven before, see her still as Dewdrop, and she's slowly shaking that away to become Piper Niven again, who she was before Dewdrop, and it's great. But let me ask you this: how long has this feud been going on? Because I wish they would have led up to it. It feels like it's only been about 3 weeks. I really wish they would have made it so like this is important. I'm believable. I'm going to beat Bailey. Other than just she's from there, so we're just going to throw her in. That's what it seemed like to me.
That's a great point. No, I agree with you. I think that if they would have spent more time building this match up, it would have made it mean so much more because the match was so dang good. In between these two, and like you said, and Chelsea, I just have to give Chelsea Green credit, man. She's funny as heck.
Yep.
I every time it's you have some of these side characters or valets, managers, what do you want to call them, and you kind of like okay, whatever. But she makes you laugh out loud, and
Yep.
you could see that eventually going the other direction between those two. But anyway, no, I think this match deserved a legitimate story. I think they did their best to tell a story in the ring, and I think it came off really well. Again, you could see Piper's emotion with the crowd. Bailey, it was her birthday. Happy birthday to Bailey. Again, I like the Chelsea Green spot. I've heard her new entrance the other day on Twitter, and it has Samantha Irvin's voice in there. It's
really?
Chelsea Green. I just thought that's hilarious. I love that they plugged that in. But no, they put a great match, and Piper really held her own against one of the best from one of the 4 horsewomen. That suplex looked really painful on Bailey. I don't know if you saw that.
There was a lot of things that looked painful in this match.
Well, but
there was a lot.
I know.
No, just from Bailey. Like, remember when she was on the middle rope and Bailey did the springboard? She did it 3 different times from the top. And there was one, I believe, she did a leg drop or a senton or something. She landed right on the back of her neck, on Piper Niven's neck. I don't know if you saw that part of it. But I'm like, holy crap, Bailey, chill out. Like, you don't need to kill this woman. But yeah, there was a physical match. That's what I like. That's what I like about Bailey and Piper. They're both physical. They both can get down. They can both go. They can both work. They're not afraid to break a nail. They wrestle like they care. And I hate to say that. Like, they wrestle like they care.
No, well, Piper obviously, Bailey cares. We know Bailey, Sasha, Charlotte, Becky. Those, yeah, I know. I'm trying not to get into it, but no, we know. I'm just talking about those 4. They come from that group right there, who have revolutionized the women's division to what it is today. We know how much they give a damn about putting on the best match on the card. They made the women's division believable. Piper is really made her name for herself, where I'm interested in her matches. Dewdrop, I agree with you. That's a character. That's a wrestler, a killer, character killer, whatever you want to call it. So what she is right now, it's a shame. I agree with you on the story. It's a shame that we may have to wait for a rematch because we know that the Nia Jax match is coming now for Bayley. On this match alone, even though Nia, and I know where you stand on Nia, even though Nia's doing her best work as a heel right now, she's probably having the best run in her career in WWE at this moment in time. So a title makes sense at this moment for her. But I would hope, based on this match alone, that she doesn't win against Bayley, and it's Piper after. I think Piper as a heel, Piper with those skills, and I'm not talking about size. I'm going to talk about it, but I don't mean in a bad way. Piper with that size does a lot more than Nia.
Mm-hmm.
Nia is a beast, right? We know Nia could hurt you. She's physical. She could injure you in reality. Where Piper, we know she could hurt you. She's got the size to do it, but her athleticism, you could see she takes care of him. I don't know how many times where you kind of go, oh, when she's about to do something to Bayley. Bayley did that suplex off the top where Bayley landed on her ass. That was Bayley. That wasn't Piper. There's a lot of times Piper was doing these crazy moves where you're like, holy crap, but she protects. It reminded me of Samoa Joe a little bit. I could see Piper being that version, obviously Scottish, but I love to see that. I would love to see her keep continuing the challenge for that title or possibly win it and run with a heel as such. She's shown that she could do it. But again, the way the tidal wave is going here, it's Nia Jax's run coming soon.
The thing that's holding Piper back is she's on the same show as Nia. And
that's fair.
What's so different about Nia and Piper? They're both big, they're both large, they're both billed as powerful, immovable objects. So when you have one of them, if you have two Andres, right? If you have two Bam Bam Bigelows, one is not going to be so special. And unfortunately, Nia is related to someone very important, so she's going to get the push, and she's obviously more marketable right now, and she's on top, but she's the queen of the ring. So that's why I feel bad for Piper right now, because she is on the same show as another monster woman. And if she was on Raw, she would make such a big difference, because Raw's missing that. Raw doesn't have the monster woman. They have Nia. I mean, they have Liv Morgan, and they have a lot of pretty girls over there, like the new girl Valkyrie. They don't have the monster like, oh, I'm gonna destroy you. There's two on SmackDown. That was a mistake. I don't know why they did that. It doesn't make sense to have two Omoses on one show. Doesn't that make sense to have two big shows? It makes zero sense. I do see this happening. Nia's going to win that title. Sorry, Bobby.
No, I get it.
Tiffy's going to win Money in the Bank. We already saw that interaction with Tiffy and Nia. That's the next feud. That's the next feud. So I
can't argue that. I can't argue that.
Yeah.
Now we get to the main event. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight title.
I got so much to say.
Okay, I'm going to let you run with it.
I got so much to say.
Start it off. Run for it.
You guys, you talk about AEW and how you don't know who the good guy is and who the bad guy is, and they booked this and they booked that, and nothing makes sense. This feud makes no sense whatsoever when it comes to baby faces and heels. You have Drew McIntyre, who's doing the best heel work of his career, working as a baby face for the past 3 weeks because he's in Scotland. I get it. You're at your hometown. Your home country. I understand. Cool. Okay. Damian Priest, the biggest heel on, leader of Judgment Day, one of the biggest heels. So you have heel versus heel. The crowd made Drew babyface. That's fine. That's great for this one night only. But at the end of the day, Drew is a heel. He complains. He cheats. He complains to Adam Pearce all the time. He makes excuses. He is a heel, whether you like it or not. Then we get the finish we get with freaking CM Punk, your biggest babyface, acting like the biggest heel in the company, screwing over the hometown hero. So therefore, in my mind, we have heel versus heel, and a heel comes in to screw a heel. And now no one knows what's happening. And I don't understand it. And I know who's the heel coming out of this. When we go on to Raw and we're out of Scotland and we're back in the States, I know who the heel's going to be. Because Wade Barrett was on the after show and during the match, CM Punk should be fired. That's the heel commentator. The heel commentator is always going to side with the heel. So Drew's going to still become the heel. But how can you defend CM Punk as a babyface doing what he did unprovoked. To me, that was poor booking. I understand CM Punk had to interrupt. I understand CM Punk had to make his presence felt. I understand that. But it was such poor booking to have your biggest babyface turn into the biggest heel in the world against your already biggest heel in the world. So what are we doing? How is it setting this up as a now Drew looks sympathetic. Drew had this man beat clean. Drew didn't cheat. Drew had this man beat clean in the ring and then get screwed over for no reason whatsoever by your babyface. Talk to me about this booking because it doesn't make sense. You could have had this workout where Drew saw the referee was knocked out. Drew gets back into his like, oh, I got to cheat now to win. I'm still a heel, even though I'm in my home country. CM Punk comes out to stop. No, you're not winning this way, buddy. But no, they made CM Punk the bad guy. I just can't comprehend this. I can't comprehend why they did it. Can't comprehend how it's going to work out. Or we just does WWE expect us to forget that CM Punk came out and basically stole a championship from Drew McIntyre unprovoked? After the show, Wade Barrett on the post show when I was waiting for you to come on was calling for CM Punk to be fired. This man needs to be fired. Not he didn't ruin one championship match. He ruined two. Two he interfered with. That's fireable offense, according to Wade Barrett, the heel commentator. And it's true. The hell does CM Punk have to do with this? What I understand they're feuding. I get it. But it doesn't make sense in your story. Your story is CM Punk's the hero, the babyface, the good guy. Everyone loves him. Drew's the best. Now Drew has a legitimate gripe. He has so every time when Drew comes out Monday night and complains about losing, how can we boo him? He's right. He did everything correctly. He did it the right way. He didn't use a chair. He didn't use a table. He didn't have interference. He beat the man clean 1, 2, 3, but got screwed over by your baby face. Talk about it, Bobby. I'm confused.
So I understand your points. I'll say it like this. And then I'll talk about the match, but I don't think it's about heel versus babyface this time. I think the lines are blurred when it comes down to these two. I think it's more about, and I don't know if I wouldn't call CM Punk a babyface. I mean, he wants to be that Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, I remember Triple H said it back in the day, you know, when he came back and there was that loud pop after his quad tear, and all of a sudden he, pedigrees Shawn Michaels, and he said, when did I say I was a good guy? When I'm never going to be that guy. I am who I am. That's kind of how I see CM Punk. I don't think this is about babyface and heels. I see it more as two guys that absolutely hate each other. That's what that is. It's obvious Drew is the babyface in Scotland. It's kind of like Bret Hart in Canada. When Bret Hart went to Canada, they hated him in the States when he was a heel, but he was loved in Canada. Shawn Michaels was the babyface in the United States, but every time he went to Montreal, he got booed the hell. And remember, he did that heel promo. Excuse me, when he said, Bret Hart, and all of a sudden Bret Hart's music hit, and it was a tease, and it's been done before. I think this is just pure, like, this is a hate versus hate. I don't care if you're a good guy or a bad guy. We don't like each other. You screwed me. I'm going to screw you twice over. You've been tagging me on your videos on Twitter. You've been coming at me here and there. You and I butt heads before. That's the way I see this. Obviously, I think we've both discussed how, and I've seen it on Twitter, I've seen it in the comments, the Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk does not need the world title. I think it would be a lot better. I think it would make the title mean a lot more if you have two of the top guys going at it compared to a Priest versus Gunther. But it doesn't. It's not about it to me. I think, yeah, in the perfect wrestling world, you need a heel and a baby face. But sometimes you have a face versus a face. You got pure, I just don't like you, and I'm going to do everything I can to screw you. And that's what CM Punk has done. And there were still fans hugging in him in the crowd and everything else. And they're going to do so again. And Drew, if he's going to go into this story as the heel, I just think he's the cocky. I don't even know if he's supposed to be a heel, but I think a lot of fans love Drew right now. I think I'm a big fan of everything he's doing.
You know why?
Why?
Because he's an awesome heel.
He's an amazing heel.
That's why we like him now.
Yeah.
He's an amazing heel.
But it's like, if he wants to sell that, he has to on Monday night. He has to go nuclear, just like we said about Chad Gable. He's gonna have to go. I don't care. He's gonna have to go off and say, I don't care about his injuries. I don't care what. I want him right now. I want him now. Bring him here. And they're gonna have to get some action. And obviously, CM Punk is getting healthy enough where he could do a fake pin, a false pin. But he could do that because that's what's injured, right? Yep. We're getting to that point. This, you think of Rock versus Austin, WrestleMania 17. That's when that was WrestleMania 17. Triple H versus Taker. That was before 18. 18 was Hogan. And okay, so I'm sorry, I'm trying to collect myself. But WrestleMania 17, I know we talked about this last week on the WCW show. That was when I started watching WWF. When I started really paying attention to WWF more than to WCW. But Austin versus The Rock, two baby faces going for the WWE title. Now, yes, switch up at the main event was not done well. That was, nobody understood why the hell. Nobody cared. You should care that McMahon and Austin are shaking hands. Wait, what the hell? Nobody did. We didn't understand what the hell was going on. But anyway, that was a time when there was a face versus a face. It was still a match that everybody was invested in. You had Rock fans, you had Austin fans. This is different. This is not a face against a face. This is hate. And, this could have been Seth Rollins, but it wasn't. Seth Rollins and CM Punk did not match, and Drew McIntyre totally took it over. So I understand your point. Obviously, in a perfect world, you'll have that heel and a face, and we know who to root for and who to hate. But at the same time, I don't think you need that for this story. This is Drew McIntyre is going to screw over CM Punk, and CM Punk's going to screw over Drew McIntyre until we get them in the ring. Until they get in that ring, they're always going to interfere. And Drew needs this to build up what he's going to become. He already is huge, but this is only going to put fuel in the fire to be that ultimate whatever he's going to be. I like it. I kind of knew where it was kind of going. Now, would I rather have seen, first off, this match in general, just to say on this match, I liked it. It's old school, hard hitting. The fans did not seem as much into it than I thought they'd be. Maybe they were just kind of worn out. They got more into it towards the end when it looked like Drew was going to get over. But they could have been worn out, so I don't blame them. But they really obviously they're invested in Drew McIntyre. McIntyre came off as a face. He's, signing stuff and whatever. Priest comes out. Priest looks like $1 million. I love his entrance. He looked really cool, whatever. Love that he did the Outsider's Edge. Kudos to, obviously that's one of his finishes, but kudos to or Scott Hall. Scott Hall. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. Scott Hall. Again, I thought it was a good match. I enjoyed it. It was old school match. I think some things went a little too long here and there, but it was fun. And then the finish, it was, like you said, it was clean. That's what's crazy. When you saw the referee down, you were like, okay, something's going to go down. Is it Judgment Day? What? Well, of course, I always figured it was going to be CM Punk. And then you see this referee come in, 1, 2, oh, and then you look up and it's CM Punk and you go, oh, there it is.
Did you know?
Did I know?
Yeah.
No, because I wasn't really looking at that. I saw the referee slide in, but it was one of those times, kind of like what you were saying. I was kind of doing something and I look back and I look and all of a sudden I just see it. And then all of a sudden I see CM Punk kind of sit up and I went, oh crap. I went, look.
Perfect.
And
it was perfect camera angle, by the way. Perfect.
Yes,
it was perfect.
Dude. Who's the guy that used to do it? The guy with the big teeth. Sorry. Kevin Dunn.
Yeah.
Kevin Dunn. Sorry. That's all I know because I always see his picture, But I don't know. You never know how good you could have it until it happens. Whoever's running that camera work now is freaking killing it.
Yep.
The camera angles, the entrances, everything. It feels like entertainment. It feels like every show now, Raw, SmackDown, PLEs feel like a big deal because of the camera work. And that right there was a perfect sell. Priest takes advantage, hits the finisher. 1, 2, 3. CM Punk's laughing. He's hanging with the crowd. McIntyre's in the middle of the ring, laying there in disbelief. I know how you feel about where this story's going. Tell me what you feel about the match.
The match was awesome. It was my favorite match of the night.
Oh, okay.
It was my favorite match of the night because we didn't have to deal with tables or furniture or chairs. We had a straight up match. it was believable when there was a point where he gave him the South of Heaven and Drew kicked out. And I'm like, whoa, holy crap. Like I thought it was it right there. Like it made me believe. There was one spot where Priest tried to do the flip over and then he got his leg caught up in the ropes. It looked like a pretty serious injury. That right there kind of scared me. I'm thinking, you know, the spot I'm talking about where he did the jump over the ropes and his foot got caught in the top rope. I thought right there, because I'm like, that's a botch. That sucks. I'm like, are they going to end this match early?
That looked like it hurt.
Yeah, I'm like, did he break his ankle? Because Cole kept on saying it. I'm like, did he sprain his ankle? Did he hurt himself? Because that looked bad. Didn't look intentional. And I was thinking this match is going to get spoiled because this guy's hurt, so they got to wrap it up early. But they went the entire time. That was impressive to me. I'm not sure if Priest is hurt or not, but it could have been. I don't know where this go. I don't want to talk about the matches like, man, because it was a great match, but I'm just can't. It just happened, just ended. I'm just worried about next. What's next? I'm always thinking, what's next, Bobby? What's next? Not even just for Drew, but what's next for Damian Priest?
What's next for SummerSlam the next pay-per-view?
No, Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. So where do we go from there?
What's next? Who does Damian Priest fight now? That's all I am concerned about. Here's
the shot. Yeah, that's why I kind of looked away because I was getting a nice shot of Drew McIntyre's. And they try to change the camera work. And there it is. Yeah. There's his back. You don't even see it's him. And then he just stops. He sits up.
Yeah. Well, here's how I knew it was CM Punk. I knew it was Punk because the shoes. If they didn't cut the shoe, if they cut the shoes out of the shot, as soon as I saw those red Nikes, I'm like, wait a minute, refs wear black shoes. So that's someone different. And I saw the hair, and the hair was slicked back. I'm like, the only referee in WWE has a slick back hair is the vampire looking dude. So that's when I didn't know it was CM Punk until I saw the shoes. But so what'd you think about what? Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. Because now I wanted to see what some people were talking about the finish because what you were saying. But I'm looking here and it says WWE posted this tweet an hour ago and writes how it happened. Hashtag WWE Castle. And it shows CM Punk watching the match. He's wearing a black long sleeve shirt, no referee shirt on. He's watching. He's seeing it going down. He starts going, oh, no. Wait a second. So he starts panicking. He talks to the women referee in the back. He's saying, can I get your shirt? Can I get your shirt? I don't hear it, but I'm seeing him. And she goes, oh, just take this one. He goes, oh, thanks. He throws it on. Now he's running to the ring. I love that they did that. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
But anyway, what were you saying? What was your point? I apologize.
No, I can't remember now, but I love the fact after the show, the post show, Wade Barrett was going nuts about we need to fire CM Punk, which is a direct shot at AEW. Yeah, whatever. But something he did say, he's impersonating a referee. And Biggie's like, what are you talking about? He's like, where's his referee certificate? He's not even a real referee. He's impersonating a referee. He's to be fired. So this gets me to the point of Raw and the Raw's coming after and going into Money in the Bank. How they portray, listen, Real Talk Wrestling, I say this all the time about AEW. I don't care about babyface versus heels. I don't care. It could be Jon Moxley versus Bryan. I don't care. When I watch a UFC event, when I watch boxing, I'm not going, oh, who's the bad guy? Oh, I just go, oh, shoot, it's O'Malley versus whoever. Let's watch a fight. Oh, it's Tyson versus Jake Paul. I don't care there's no babyface and heel. So if you're trying to get a sports aspect, which both companies are right now, they're trying to get that sports feeling. It's okay to have heel versus heel. It's okay to have babyface. It's okay to have top tier versus top tier talent. So I don't want everyone to think like, oh, Josh he needs babyface versus heel.
No.
But this is my point. Leading into Money in the Bank or to SummerSlam, don't just turn around and make Drew the hardcore heel here and CM Punk. It's how they follow it up. If they both act in heelish terms towards each other, cool. It's like spy versus spy. It's like, okay, they're both doing bad things to each other. That's fine. It's hate, like you said. Don't let me come out here on Monday night and have CM Punk cut a babyface promo. Don't let it come out here where Drew I need consistency with this. And I believe that Triple H will be consistent with this whole outcome. But let's see how it plays out. I want to see if they stay consistent with this story. Kicked him in the nuts. Screwed him over. He wasn't coming out as a hero saving the day from bad actions. He was coming out there with bad intentions. So they just need to follow up with that. That's my last point on that.
I like it. I like it. So if you had to give this show this PLE a grade, what would it be?
Man,
Or let's play Dave Meltzer. 5 stars. What would you give this 1 out of 5?
3.5.
I'm with you. I think that's fair. I think that's
So
probably better.
it's serviceable. There were some dull moments. There was some predictable outcomes. AJ Styles match. Other matches were, the only one I was really surprised by was Chad Gable. I thought he was going over. So predictability, match wise, the pacing was awesome. I love these afternoon shows. They don't just drag on. There's not moments where it's like, okay, come on, can we get this thing going? Even the women's matches that I didn't care about, they were moving. So yeah, 3.5. It's above average. It's right there. Solid B minus, C plus.
I'm with you. I would have to say I'm in the B range, B minus. I think it's fair. I think 3.5 is fair enough because it was great and it was good in regards of the matches. The crowd really helped them. Starting off with a banger with Cody versus AJ Styles. Again, the finish put it down a little bit for me. The interference or the kind of with the bloodline with Solo, I'm just kind of like, okay, that kind of tag it down a little bit. The tag match, there were a little bit of botches here and there, but like you said, they made up for them. When it comes to we talked about her and Goldberg, how the short matches are better for her. You could tell she's working on her stuff, and you could tell when it comes to moving past 5 minutes, she's better than Goldberg. She could still, as long as and she looks like she's willing to work with others. It's not like with Goldberg, you got guys going, let me try to help you. Let me get you this. Oh, I'm bigger, and again, we'll talk about tomorrow. We got that all tomorrow.
Oh, I got notes.
Yeah, let's plug it now. Tomorrow, guys, we're back. We have 2 episodes this weekend because of PLE and the show. First of all, I want to thank everybody for last weekend's show, Who Killed WCW Part 1, our review show of that. I haven't seen now I could pull that up now. But I saw over 700 views on that show from YouTube alone, which was awesome. People were reacting, and that does not counting Twitter and Facebook or whatever. But let's see where it finished for tomorrow. Let's see.
Yeah, well, he looked that up.
713. So thank you to everyone who tuned in. I think everybody grew up on WCW and WWF, but mainly WCW, especially if you're a WCW person. So tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do part 2. We both watched it. I watched it last night. It's fresh in my mind. I have plenty to say. Brought back some awesome memories. They kind of gave Eric Bischoff some flowers. We're going to talk about that, which again, deserving, right? If you think about it, and what he was able to do, we're going to touch on that. Goldberg was discussed, his streak, when the broken streak. We talked on that a little bit last week and what it could have been done, but I want to talk more about it tomorrow. And then, of course, now the next episode would be Vince Russo, but tomorrow, come back on with us and touch on that show. It was a great show. I love this series, and I love talking with Josh. But Josh, what were you to say, man?
Yeah, I was going to say while you're looking up the numbers, man, I cannot wait to talk about this show because Goldberg is a passion of mine when we talk about professional wrestling and how much I do not like Bill Goldberg. And I know, and I know you're probably a huge Bill Goldberg mark.
Oh, here we go.
I cannot wait. Cannot wait. I cannot wait to talk about this because
I knew you were going
everything Kevin Nash said during the show, and this is a preview for tomorrow.
We could
spot on, and I cannot wait to get into it because Bill Goldberg was a liability in that ring. He was not ready, and taking the title off was the right thing to do, just not how they did it. That's what I'll say until we'll get into it more next week or tomorrow.
Well, and first off, I think when the character's done right, it was fun. Again, you protected him. It was fun. But I agree, it was kept on too long. Whatever. I'm not gonna be ashamed to say I like Goldberg. I didn't think too much of it, but I'm not like a Goldberg, sympathizer. You called me for Hulk Hogan last week, but I will say is that I agree with Kevin Nash. I like Kevin Nash. I laughed at some of the stuff he was saying yesterday in regards of, first off, he said it before. This is not the show, but he said before, Goldberg's a mark for himself. So is Bret Hart. So a lot of the guys are, but Mark basically means like, he's a fanboy over himself. For those who are like, why are you picking on Mark? I don't even know who Mark is. I'm just saying that. But Goldberg, you'd hear Goldberg talk about it, the way he talks about himself. He's a Mark. He believes that, I could do all this. When they show the Scott Hall footage, you couldn't help but cringe. That wasn't Undertaker versus Goldberg where you can say old age was a factor. No. First off, Scott Hall's one of the best in-ring competitors. Yep. He's one of the best minds in the business. And he can make you look like $1 million. And when you made that match, that certain spot look like a gymnasium independent
indie show.
Yeah, that's a problem. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on Bret Hart because I know how you feel, but I want to hear what you say about his stuff. And I with the other was it a couple days ago when I saw him, right? He's like, sucks. He's effing this and this. I was like, this is Josh Kim on a normal day. It's like, perfect. So guys. First off, we give it 3.5 stars for tonight's show. I don't think that's a bad thing. It's not a knock. It was a fun show. It was a good show. Main event was great. It was a good finish. For me, but overall, a good show. Tomorrow, come back and join us now for tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Josh and I will be back talking on who killed WCW. It's probably gonna be longer because we have a lot more to talk about, and we start debating things that when we were younger fans, stuff we wanted to tell that other fan. That's what we do. That's why he just throws in there. You probably are a Goldberg fan. Here we go. Here it is. Here it is. He's just looking for that argument, but we'll hold it for tomorrow. But until then, any final words, Josh?
Yeah, tomorrow's Father's Day, guys. So
That's
make
right.
some time and be here. I'm going to Titus O'Neil's event here in Tampa. He's a big local guy. Titus O'Neil lives here. It's a big deal. He's a big deal here in Tampa. And he's holding up a charity event up over here at the amphitheater. I've already got registered. So if I run into Titus O'Neil tomorrow, I'll let you know. He's going to be there. So some wrestlers might be there tomorrow. So I might have some stories if I run into him tomorrow. So
there you go. All right. Well, guys, and again, those who can't make it tomorrow, hopefully you can, but we understand it's Father's Day. I talked about that earlier on Finn's Talk today. So to the fathers out there who are tuning in, who we might not be able to talk to tomorrow, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you, Josh. I'll talk to you tomorrow anyways, but I'll tell you now in case I forget. And there's Josh Wingate. Happy Father's Day to Josh.
Hey, remind me, Bobby, to tell you about the Manny Ramirez story at batting practice at Tropicana Field on tomorrow's show.
Got it, Manny Ramirez. Got it. All right, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Later.
It's the Finn's Talk Sports Network, FTSN, talking major sports and even wrestling. Bobby Finn's Talk and his FTSN crew, they're taking deep dives just to entertain you, talking Dolphins